Good morning.
Good morning, Dr. Priscilla.
It's good to see you today.
Okay.
All right, well, it's good to hear your voice. All right, today we're going to read from, I believe it is English. I'm not sure where it's from. My English pages online. This reading is Brain Drain. If you'll start to read for me.
Okay. Brain drain. Reassessing the impacts of brain drain on developing countries. Brain drain, which is the action of having highly skilled and educated people leaving their country to work abroad, has become one of the developing countries' concerns.
Skilled.
Brain drain is also referred to as a human capital flight. More and more third world science and technology educated people are heading for more prosperous countries seeking higher wages and better working conditions.
Okay, this is going to be heading and higher. It's your H sound. Heading higher.
Heading higher.
Very good.
This has, of course, serious consequences on the sending countries. While many people believe that immigration is a personal choice that must be understood and respected, others look at the phenomenon from a different perspective.
Phenomenon.
Mm-hmm. What makes those educated people leave their countries should be seriously considered, and a distinction between push and pull factors must be made. The push factors include low wages and lack of satisfactory working and living conditions. Social unrest, political conflicts, and wars may also be determining causes. The pull factors, however, include intellectual freedom and substantial funds for research. Brain drain has negative impact on the sending country's economic prospects and competitiveness. It reduces the number of dynamic and creative people who can contribute to the development of their country.
Dynamic.
Mm-hmm. Likewise, with more entrepreneurs taking their investment abroad, developing countries are missing an opportunity to wealth creation.
Okay, that's entrepreneurs with an S. Entrepreneurs. And this word is of.
Wealth creation. This has also negative consequences on tax revenue and employment. Most of the measures taken so far have not had any success in alleviating the effects of brain drain. A more global view must take into consideration the provision of adequate working and living conditions in the sending country.
Countries. With an S. Mm-hmm.
Another option should involve encouraging the expatriates to contribute their skill to the development of their countries without necessarily physically relocating.
Okay. I know this is okay, but it's relocating. I think I hear it relocating. Yes, relocating. All right, very good. Are there questions about this article?
No. When we discuss, perhaps I will have some questions.
Okay.
I understood the global meaning of the text.
All right. Let's quickly look at the comprehension questions and read those and answer for me.
Yes. Another term for brain drain is human capital flight.
2.
To address the problem of brain drain, we should understand the causes. Perhaps, I'm not sure.
Okay.
Brain drain has terrible consequences on the economic development of sending countries. To limit the negative impact of brain drain, expatriates should I didn't understand really. Try to help their home countries while staying there.
Okay. So let's look at 2. To address the problem of brain drain, we should understand the causes. And I could say that the causes means why are they leaving? And if we choose the effects, after they have left, what are the effects? What is the impact? For me, either one could be the answer, and I would go with A as well. Number 4, to limit the negative impact of brain drain, expatriates should come back to their home countries for good. Most of the time, they are educated someplace else. They may not stay in the place where they were educated, but going back home does not mean that they will be paid a nice salary. Try to help their home countries while staying there. If they get their education, if it is possible to get an education in their home countries, I believe that they would certainly be able to help their country by what they have learned. So I would also choose B as my answer. Let's check to see how well we did. And, so we did very, very well. We have all of them correct. Let's take a look at the vocabulary for brain drain. Okay.
Right.
Did you have any questions about any of these? The brain?
The brain,
Mm-hmm.
the portion of the head which is the primary center for the regulation of control of bodily activities, receiving and interpreting sensory impulses, and transmitting information to the muscles and body organs. It's also the seat of consciousness, thought, memory, and emotion. Yes, first definition. Second definition, intellectual ability, mind, a dull brain, a quick brain.
Mm-hmm.
The brain is a brain who is lazy, I suppose.
Yes. Okay. All of these will be correct. It's just giving you different definitions of the brain.
Okay.
See?
Intellectual power, intelligence, often used in the plural. He has brains and good looks. A highly intelligent person is such a brain.
Okay.
Brain drain, a large immigration of individuals with technical skills or knowledge, normally due to conflict, lack of opportunity, political instability, or health risks.
Health
Risks. Human capital flight, another terminology for brain drain. It's a parallel of capital flight which refers to the same movement of financial capital. It describes the immigration of scientists and technologists to North America and Europe from different developing countries.
Mm-hmm.
Brain training, preparing highly skilled people needed for the development of a country.
Skilled.
Brain training is related to an economic cost since training is sponsored by the government.
Mm-hmm.
Brain gain occurs when there's a large...
I think I made it go away. Let me see if I can find it. Oh, I think we may have to, just a second, start here with brain drain.
Okay. Brain exchange. When the highly skilled people...
Skilled.
Oh, yes. When the highly skilled people leave a country, they're replaced by others coming from other countries. This exchange usually happens between developed countries.
Okay.
Brainless, stupid, a brainless idiot. Brainy, clever, is a brainy child. Emigration, when someone leaves a country permanently or go to live in another one. Millions of Germans emigrated from Europe to America in the 19th century. The person who emigrates is an immigrant. Immigration, when someone comes to live in a different country. There are strict limits on immigration into the country. The person who immigrates is an immigrant. Highly qualified, highly skilled, technically qualified people. Developing country, a poor or non-industrial country that is seeking to develop its resources by industrialization. It has a relatively low standard of living, an undeveloped industrial base, and a moderate to low human development index score. Developed country, a country advanced in industrial capability, technological sophistication, and economic productivity. Modern terms synonymous with the term developed country include industrialized countries, more developed countries, more economic developed countries, advanced country, or post-industrial countries.
Okay, so those are our vocabulary words. And I think this is going to take us back to our reading. So we read that, and let's see if this is, see what we will do with our vocabulary exercise. All right, let's see if you can give me, choose the right word. A lot of. And here are your choices, I think.
Okay, a lot of developing countries are facing the challenge of a human capital flight. Something should be done something should be done to stop this phenomenon.
Okay, and the word stop would be synonymous to stem.
Okay, to stem this phenomenon. One way to deal with this problem is to provide high wages and good working. Good working conditions for highly skilled for highly skilled people could keep them in their developing country, to keep them in their
home country.
Brains technically occurs when developed countries receive technically qualified people. Okay.
So if this is technically, then this brain here would be different.
Brain gain occurs when developed countries receive technically qualified people. Okay.
Let's check our answers. Let's see how well we did. Yay!
Perfect.
100%. All right, so let's talk about the article itself. What did you think of this article, and why did you think what you thought?
Oh, I think this article is really important in today's in our life today, because it's a really big problem in Europe. Every day in the news they speak about this big problem, because most of the people from the American countries, the African countries, try to cross the Mediterranean Sea
Mm-hmm.
to come to Europe, and sometimes it's a big problem. For
Okay,
example,
even though it is a big problem, is it understandable why individuals would not want to return to their home countries after education?
of course, if I was in their conditions, surely I try the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But for the developed country who receive the immigrants, it seems a big problem. For example, in my city in Gap, we have a lot of people from Africa countries who stay in a house and work, who who are in the city, and of course it's they don't have they couldn't work. They
Mm-hmm.
couldn't work because it's forbidden, and they spend all their days in a bank. They spend all their days in the street, and I sure they couldn't be happy.
Mm-hmm.
For the people in my country, uh, most of them think it could be dangerous, because they will pull the wages on the low if they
Mm-hmm.
stay if they stay in Europe.
I see. Mm-hmm. So what is the solution? One solution may be that the government of the countries will help their students or help their citizens become educated, but require them to return home. I have one student in Saudi Arabia. The student is in the US at this time. After he finishes his studies, he has to return home for 10 years, I think, and work. If he does not return home, I think he said his family, his relatives can be punished or penalized, or they may be made to pay all of the monies back that the government has
Ah,
spent to
I,
educate them.
okay. I think it's a good idea for Saudi Arabia. I think it's a good idea because they need this kind of skilled people,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm sure it's a good idea. And the only solution is to fill the gap between developed and developing countries. But for that, we need to be less selfish in the
Mm-hmm.
Occidental world, and it's not so easy. It's easy to say, it's not easy to do.
This is true. This is true. All right. Okay. Um, I have another class starting in about 6
Yes.
minutes.
It was an interesting article.
And I enjoyed reading